Welcome to A Simple Life. You guys have voted. Just in the last week, you guys have shown so much love towards Colette. I want to say thank you. And what I mean by you guys have voted, well, clearly I need to show you more of what Colette's doing and maybe less of me. All right, all jokes aside, I've been really busy. Let me show you some of what we've been doing, why I've been so busy. So right behind me is our pond. Now, our pond was a little smaller than it currently is right now, and it was definitely a lot shallower. Right now it's about 12 feet deep. In the past it was only about 4 feet deep, and I was always a little bummed out at the amount of water it could really hold. And so I had an excavator down here, and so I dug out the pond. I left all the little cowtails down there. I left a little patch of those. Those were the only kind of pond grass that was in here. And then I just cleaned it all out, and it filled up because we just had that huge bomb monsoon, or whatever they want to call it. We just had that roll through, and when it filled up, well, the good part is my leveling was pretty darn close, and my spillway is nice and mellow, and you can see actually along here, it's filled up, and it overflows right down there into the stream. This whole area was a bit of a mess. In the past, I had never really been able to get in here and clean it up the way I wanted to. And one of our plans is, kind of over by where the red truck is to put our goat barn there. But before I could put a goat barn down here in a low-lying area, I don't want to have my goats drowned in the middle of a big storm or something, I need to raise it up, level the area off, and make it so that way it would be a nice area for goats to be, and for Christine to also be able to come down and milk them. And so we're thinking about putting a goat barn right there. But this would be much better because it has a lot more pasture around it. We have this pasture we run the goats in, and then we can run the goats through this kind of wooded area and back that way as well. So the goats will have a much better area to graze on. And we don't have a lot of goats. These are all dairy goats. They're a Nigerian goat. And so that's kind of the idea in this area, is to make it so that way the goats can be up here. And actually, it's hard to tell, but I raised this. Where I'm standing right now is about 3 to 4 feet higher than where it was. And as you can see, there's no real standing water right here. We were able to get some grass in. I had the boys do it while I was at work one day, and I can see they ran out of grass seed. So we're gonna bring some more grass seed up. I have some rye and some oat. Now I showed you that. Let's get up to Herman's, and I will show you what's going on up there, but I'm gonna insert a clip right here of Colette and her amazing horse Fern and what they've been up to, because, well, this last week Colette's done some really amazing stuff with Fern. I'm not going to show you all of it, just show you a little snippet. Fern just saw a pig for the very first time. I know this has water in it. We just got hit by that huge cyclone, bomb cyclone, whatever they wanted to call it. Anyways, so today's the first day we actually had some nice dry weather. How's she doing? She's doing great. Earlier I was like, I'm not gonna bring it around today because she was like, it was windy and stuff, but I was like, I'll see how she does. And she didn't even care. I just walked her in, and she kept up walking past the car. Yeah. I walked her into the barn, and she got to sniff one of the horse's noses, and I backed her out. We also walked over a pile of mats over there since we redid the gravel. Yeah. And she also got to sniff one of the trucks and the cars, and good. She got to look at the tractor, and she handled everything well. She spooked and ran forward once, but and as soon as she felt tension on the rope, she turned and looked at me, and she did really good. Good, very good, very, very good. All right, well, I'll let you get back to it. I'm gonna go up to Three Oaks, and we're gonna do some work up there. We're putting some fencing in. So. Much straighter, huh? No. Oh, she sees the dogs, but... She did really good with the dogs barking at me. Wow, good job. And through a puddle. Yeah, she's distracted, but... That's fine. All right, well, that's a little update. I'm gonna go up to Three Oaks, and we're doing some fencing today. I figured I would just post a quick video, a little update with Colette, since we're finally have some blue sky. We haven't had blue sky for
I want to say a week. It's been nothing but wind and rain, and really nasty. Like we had multiple days where we got over an inch of rain. Just rain all day, wind all night. So anyways, we're kind of out of that, and so everybody's outside trying to get work done. All right, see you guys in a bit.
Okay, we're up here at Three Oaks. Let me show you what we've been working on. One of the things we've worked on, well, we have 2 shipping containers. And they are right here next to the old garage. Now, the old garage isn't gonna go anywhere. I actually have some plans for the old garage. What used to be here is an old camper from like the 70s, 60s or 70s. And so what I did was we removed that camper. There was some like a roof over it. And I put 2 40-foot shipping containers here. The reason for putting the 2 40-foot shipping containers here is I needed somewhere where I could store stuff as I'm doing projects. Not only do I need a place to store stuff while I'm doing projects, I also wanted to eventually use them for whether that was a cooler or an electrical room, because we don't have anywhere to really put our electrical power as we run it to other places in the property. Actually, to be honest, it's all run above ground, and I like to stop doing that because it doesn't scale well with having the place cleaned up, having electrical wires just run willy-nilly everywhere. So as we move forward, I'm going to start putting all that stuff underground. And I wanted something that was semi-permanent that we could use to house our electrical panels, maybe water filters, that kind of stuff. That leads me to the next thing that's right over here. Let me show you. One of the projects we worked on over the summer was building a pond. And that pond, well, it went pretty well. Now, we're not 100% done with it, and I'll explain why we're not 100% done with it. And part of the reason why we're not 100% done with it is I wasn't sure how it was going to fill. And as it was my first pond, I didn't want to overdo tightening it and then rip the liner or something like that. So what we did was we put part of the pond liner in the ground, and the rest is above ground, but held tight using some ropes and straps and stuff until we know exactly where the pond liner is going to sit. So let me show you. Here's the pond. While it looks like it's shallower down there, it's just a steeper angle. So we'll be using this both to store water as well as to position water for filtration as we move forward with the property as we put a bigger pond up top. So this is the first pond. It was a test pilot to see how it was going to hold, how the plastic was going to hold up, how everything was going to go, because we'd never done this before. All right. You might be able to see the next thing we did, which is right up there. Let me show you. All right, this is the next area we're gonna put greenhouses. And the reason I'm gonna put greenhouses right here is because I have one, and this is the perfect area for putting 2 more, just like that one. The reason for doing it right here is I'm gonna have power here and as well as irrigation. Now, the reason I care about having power here is if I wanna use any fans or anything like that going forward, I want to be close to my power source. I don't want to be on the other side of the property because that causes some real issues with getting power there, especially since this property is fairly remote and my power source is right there. So we had some grapes here, and yes, they were good grapes, but this land is going to be way more useful to me not in grapes. We're still going to keep the grape patch we have over on the other side, down by the other gardens, and we have another grape patch right over here that needs to be cleaned up. We're going to keep that. But right in here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to level this off. We're going to clear out all the grapes. We've cleared out a lot of them. We still have a lot of blackberry bramble and stuff in here. And so we're going to come in. I'll show you how I did what I did here. And we're going to finish cleaning this area up. We're going to level it off some so that way we don't have a angle this way. So it's more level this way. I actually like having, as you can see, that greenhouse has a slight angle to it. I actually like that. So the reason why having a greenhouse on a slight angle is useful, 1 degree is all you really need, but if you go above that, it's okay. The reason it's really useful is heat rises. So in the summer, you have air pulled from the bottom through the greenhouse and up to the top. And it's equivalent, if you have a 1 degree angle on your greenhouse, to running a fan. Well, that's free energy. All I have to do is put it on an angle, and I got free energy. I get a fan basically for nothing. So I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to have these on just a slight angle, maybe not quite same angle as that, maybe a little less of an angle, but there's going to be 2 more greenhouses the same size, 20 by 100. And as you can see, my buddy is out, and he's not supposed to be out. He's supposed to be with the goats. Speaking of which, let's go look at the new goat area, because we've been clearing area for putting a fence for the goats. All right, well, I just brought a little snack up for the goats, and I think they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with it. You're starting to nibble on it. There you go. What do you think? What do you think, livestock guardian goat? Oh, you like that, huh? All right. All right, so the fencing up here, let me show you. I've driven a few of these fiberglass rods in, and we've stretched a string all the way down to the property line. And I'll show you what that looks like, an aerial shot, and kind of the general area that we're gonna be doing this. So this goes all the way down. We cleared the branches and the trees out. I still need to get the little mini X down there to gather up some of that stuff so it's out of the way. And we're gonna take that fencing and we're gonna come from here, and it's gonna go all the way down this old road next to where the goats have been. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up 2 permanent goat pastures that have high tensile electrified fencing. The reason for doing that is 2 things. It's pretty hilly here. The other thing is this area is used, well, the real reason for this area is for logging. So whatever I put in, I want to be able to remove in the future without having to just throw my fencing away. So you can see there's a little road here that goes down to there. Fence will go down this way, and then it'll cut over down that way, and then it'll cut down this hill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what we've been doing down there. We've had to do a lot of work to start clearing this out, and then we can put our fence posts in. Those fence posts will then go along the property line, and they'll come out all the way down there where I was just showing you, and I'll show you an aerial map of what these 2 pastures are gonna look like. One pasture is gonna be about 8 acres, and the other one's gonna be about 6. And it'll include this whole hillside right here. And this hillside, the dug fir did not take very well. I'm just gonna keep putting goats in here to help clean up what's here, because if I don't clean up what's here, well, I'll show you what it looks like. It ends up looking a lot like this, with a lot of blackberry bramble and a lot of hazelnut and just random stuff growing in it. Now this area over here, the goats have already been in here, and they've actually been the ones that killed off all the blackberry and all the bramble and stuff in here, and that's why we have grasses starting to grow right here. The goats did this. I didn't do this. Well, I helped them by putting them in here and making sure they had feed. But now they're gonna have this side of the fence, this whole hillside going down. Thank you guys for joining me on this update. And yes, I know a lot of you are excited about Colette's new horse Fern, and I'll see you soon. Bye.